And we're back. In fact, the racing started without us. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
That's
we
all
weren't
your
expecting
fault.
that
It's
one.
the new guy's fault.
It's always my fault. It's all good.
Diesel. Come on, man. Pick it up.
Next time.
We got Brandon Miller on the course right on the 921. Again, the time to beat is Jason Weller with a 225.83. He has got a almost a 2-second advantage over Sarah Price, currently sitting second. And it looks like the next car in the line
Looks like we got Waylon.
is Wayland, yeah. Boy, if that doesn't look like a little Tonka toy, 4400 sitting there, huh?
Absolutely it does.
Little Matchbox 4400.
See,
That's why I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Hot Wheels or Matchbox come into this series and have some die cast made up of some of these cars.
They have some really cool stuff. I was talking to Waylon earlier in the week, and their first drive of these things was at the lake bed.
Yeah,
They've just finished building them. They got the 3 matching ones. You got Shannon out there in the number 5. Got Bailey in the 35.
Whoa,
Waylon
Brandon
number 3.
Miller. I'm sorry, man. We just caught it up on 2 wheels, and I almost looked like he was past the point of no return and was still able to save it. So there's some big-time aggression out there from Miller.
See, there's a fine line between a bicycle and a yard sale.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice looking Polaris. Miller out there behind the wheel. So do you have one of these toys back home in New Zealand?
I had one.
Had one?
Yeah.
Wife made you sell it?
No, it was part of a sponsorship deal, so it was good. We had that. We used it. We wheel in a lot of mud at home, so we used it.
And Brandon Miller crosses underneath the arch, headed back down on into the short course into Hammertown. Once again, time to beat 225.83.
Waylon's off.
And let's see, Brandon Miller crosses the line 12th quick with a time of 2:54.29. Now this is going to be kind of interesting watching Waylon because he's a good wheel man.
Yep.
And I'm anxious to see what his priorities are as far as this car goes in qualifying. He's going to nail the course, go out full tilt, nail it, or kind of high, hold back a little bit and maybe save the car somewhat.
Waylon's always been kind of a less aggressive driver. He likes to kind of take his time, pick his lines, and just make it work. And that seems to pay off for him. He always seems to end up in the top 10 somewhere.
Yeah, now that you bring it up, I can kind of see that too, yeah. Not like his dad.
No, there's a big difference. Both have a ton of skill, but the driving style is so different.
So Waylon Campbell's about halfway through his qualifying session. We got qualifying going on, and Dave's in here to the truck stirring stuff up.
See, from my crooked eyes over here, this certainly looks like we got a Gomez coming up next.
So Waylon, like you mentioned, Waylon is doesn't appear to be the quickest car coming down through that section right there. And there may be, and I hate phrases, I hate catchphrases. It just bothers me. But in this scenario, in the King of the Hammer, sometimes slower is faster.
For sure.
And as the course goes south, so to speak, every single lap, that might be the case for a lot of these guys.
Yep. Line selection is definitely key out there. As I said earlier, one big rock can ruin your day really quickly. I got to say, those monster green wheels pop in the desert something fierce. They look really good out there.
I mean, that does look like a Hot Wheels version of one of the 4400 cars.
Yes, it does.
And Waylon Campbell coming down into Hammertown. He'll cross the line. And he comes across the line 5th quick.
Looks like we got
2:36.83.
Looks like we got Raul out there. Another Gomez brother that likes to push really hard.
Yeah, it was funny watching Raul last night when I asked him, and both him and JP, how many cars they were racing this week, and they're both going. They look at the other hand going.
See, I tell you what,
to be 9 cars.
We're pretty cozy in here, but to have a whole bunch of cars to jump into for the week, it'd be a pretty good deal.
And the T1 truck.
The T1 would be awesome.
That whole team is like little kids in a candy store.
Yeah.
Just staring at that thing. They can't believe it's theirs. They can't believe they're going to be racing it.
That's the hard part. Like, how do we get the race prep done when you just want to look at it and leave it in one piece?
And by the way, it's the truck that won the Baja 1000 in 2018. So
I believe it's Cameron Steele's
yeah,
Orca.
exactly. Yep. Which he should be here sometime. I'm kind of guessing probably tomorrow, if not yet today. I think. But, Cameron will be here helping us out.
Absolutely. We got Ian out here as well from Big Tire Garage.
Yep.
We got
a member
Miles
of the broadcast team.
And we've got Jim.
Jim Marsden. Isn't he here yet?
I don't think he's here yet. I haven't seen him. But he will be helping out. Another good Can-Am coming up. Number 5612.
You know, you park one of these. I mean, obviously these are race cars. I mean, these aren't something. I mean, you could, but they're not something you beat around the back pasture chasing cows with. But when you walk up to a Can-Am or a Razor or anything off the showroom floor, then you look at one of these cars that's been prepped for KOH, park it right next to each other. There is talk about night and day difference. I mean, with the GPS system in it and the safety equipment, and boy, some nice speed by Raul coming down into Hammertown. Very nice speed.
Yeah, as we say, the amount of technology that goes into these things to make them go fast, it's not just simply jump in, change your roll cage, put some good harnesses in and go. As much as you can do that in some races, it's so good to see these guys meeting all the safety standards and making things happen.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because you got manufacturer involvement.
Yeah.
You know, say they'll hand you a car or you purchase a car at a good price from them, and they kind of watch you do, work on your car, fabricate certain things.
For sure.
And the manufacturers, and more than a few times, some of these guys have learned from the fabricators out of their garage.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My favorite part is actually seeing the factory support these guys are getting, and the factory guys like Can-Am are out there listening to what the riders want, and they're really making an effort to evolve the UTVs into race cars so that these guys can come out and live their dreams.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as Raul Gomez crosses the line, I hate to tell you, Marcos, but he got you. You have been dropped down to 13th quick. They keep score amongst each other.
Yeah.
B2. So right now, Marcus, you've fallen back to the 13th qualifying spot, and Raul, you're now currently in the top 10, qualifying 10th with a time of 2:42.42. Kind of likes those 2s and 4s in that one. And we got Will Harris on the line, or on course right now. And I believe it's Brandon Schuler.
In the 919.
Wow. Another nice looking race car.
Got some really nice roll cages on some of these.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these Can-Ams got some. It's almost like, look at it. Well, even the car behind it, both those Can-Ams, they look like they've been through a wind tunnel testing.
Absolutely.
I mean, trying to make those things as slick as possible.
Yeah, as I said to you yesterday, I finally got to go for a blast in one. We took the X3 XRS for a hoon out in the desert, and I was absolutely blown away with it. Stock out the box, and it was just super comfy.
Wow, there's some aggressive driving coming down through the rocks. Wow. Will Harris is definitely on it. And we were able to watch this, and he was missing all the big rocks. I mean, we know where they're at, and he was missing all of them, and it was well up to speed.
Have you ever been in one of these, Scott?
No.
You gotta jump in one. Get somebody to take you for a
I've
drive.
never been invited. I'm not going to ask.
You
but
should.
I've never been invited either.
It is life changing.
Yeah, as long as my wife has 2 horses, I don't think I'll be getting one of these.
Isn't that your ticket to get one of those?
No.
Doesn't work like that?
No, not in my house. No. It gives me a chance to do the dishes and the vacuuming. And
Do you at least have a nice vacuum?
oh yeah, we got one of those expensive Kirby's. Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, there's your race car. Now we got Brandon Schuler off the line, 9:19.
Still waiting for Will Harris to cross the line. I'm kind of wondering if I don't think Will tripped the transponder. Oh yeah. Doesn't look like Will Will Harris tripped the transponder, so we'll see what happened there as Brandon Schuler's out on the course right now. Yeah, there's nothing stock about that. Wow.
That's a mean looking machine. The Nerf bars just look really good on it, really aggressive.
Real nice lines. You know, let's talk about what K&M's got going here this week. You mentioned that you took out, what'd you say, you Honda in one yesterday or something?
So I took one out for a blast around as part of the K&M demo, and I highly recommend going down and going for a demo ride with the K&M crew. Really cool to get to see how the vehicle handles and what it does. And then I was fortunate enough to give one without a training wheel attachment, and I took it out and took it for a rip out in the desert, and yeah, it's a whoop eater.
Well, it looks like Will Harris did cross the line and trip the transponder with a time of 2:43.3. He's qualified right now, currently 12th, as Brandon Schuler is out on the course. Yet. Jason Weller still our fast time with a 2:25.83. Sarah Price currently second with a 2:27.6. Austin Whelan currently third with 2:27.8. So our top 3 are relatively close.
And we still are early in the day.
Oh yeah,
anything can happen out there.
We just scratched the surface of the cars we're looking at to come out here qualifying yet.
I'm getting excited for race day. There's a lot of big names, a lot of very, very talented drivers out there. It's going to be very interesting to see what pans out.
Brandon Schuler crosses the line, 13th quick, 2:43.56, 2:43.56. Robert Lunsford on the course right now. That was a K&M, right?
That was the X3 XRS we were looking at before.
Okay.
The nice roll cage on it.
Just a second ago you saw Gomez in staging. Don't ask me which one, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There he is. I believe that's JP.
So, not all of us had the VIP status that could stay in town like you, Scott. So, this is like day 6 out here for us. And we have literally built Hammertown running around in these Can-Ams. And it's quite cool to see some of the ones we call the Go Fast ones, which are the X3 XRSs. They're kitted out with the HCR gear. And that just makes all the difference when these guys are going out into the rocks to set the trails and make things happen. It's good going out there knowing you got good gear under your rig so that you can make things happen and not get stranded out there in the cold, windy situation.
You know, it's cool that you mentioned that, because it's like in short course off-road racing, Can-Am's has really started making a name for itself, especially in 2018. Very, very fast, very strong. So it's, I mean, obviously it's a different kind of car, or I should say different kind of setup. But, I mean, just like you got 4,400 cars, just like you have Pro 4 short course, just like you have T1 desert trucks,
Yep.
you can race these Can-Ams in every kind of environment.
Looks like we got another Can-Am sitting on the line.
Yeah, I believe that's, I want to say that's JP Gomez. I don't know if they have the ability, while racing is going on, to talk to each other on the radios.
You can.
Well, I know that between the spotter and the driver, but from driver to driver. I know you can do that. I just don't know if they do or if you're allowed to.
This is true.
Which is
Whoa, whoa, whoa! We got a rollover.
And yeah, that was nothing very severe, but it was kind of strange. It
Looks
like the left front kind of buried.
Yeah, it looks like it just bit and just pitched him.
And just kind of caught the left front and didn't do a complete rollover. Kind of up on two wheels, turned it to save it, and ended up on its side.
I mean, it's been a long week for some of these guys, so I don't blame them stopping halfway to have a nap.
And so close to the finish too. Oh boy,
That's a shame. But as we're talking about that nice looking roll cage, that's why they put them on there.
oh yeah, oh boy. So tough break for Robert Lunsford. That'll put him, as long as there's nothing wrong with the car and he's able to get everything back together. It wasn't that severe, it looked like, that snapped anything or broke anything or even bent anything.
It was quite a gentle rollover.
But that'll definitely put him at the back of the pack for the start of tomorrow's race.
You could imagine the frustration these guys are going through, sitting there on their side after having prepped for months on end to come out here and do their thing, and to flop it before you get to the finish line. That's never a good time.
Yeah, there's a good shot of our course workers. And you know they just ran probably about 300 yards up a hill to help
Yep.
out.
In the wind, so it's like
Yeah.
double the resistance.
And this is only day one. Well, while we work on getting Robert Lunsford up on all fours, let's step aside real quick, talk to some of our sponsors. We'll be right back for our next qualifier in line.
Years of off-road racing dominance, proprietary patented race technology, proudly made in the USA, unparalleled customer service and support, the choice of champions. King Shocks, the leader in off-road shock technology.
back with Robert Lunsford back on all fours. It even looks like he's got air in all 4 tires. So hopefully no harm, no foul outside of not being able to qualify.
Running, driving, back to the pits.
Yeah,
Got to be a good feeling after a flop.
He'll be kicking the dirt a little bit.
Little
When he
bit.
gets back to his pits, and hopefully we'll still see him out there on the course or on track tomorrow for the race. Let's see. I do believe that is one of the Gomez cars at the start-finish line.
So far, we've got a pretty eventful start for the Can-Am kickoff. And we've got 2 days of Can-Am UTV racing presented by HCR. And the rest of the week is going to pan out with some crazy, crazy action for everyone watching live on the Jumbotron or everyone at home sitting on the couch.
Skipping the Super Bowl.
What's the Super Bowl?
Yeah, exactly.
This is Super Bowl. Super Bowl racing. Gotta say that Can-Am looks pretty smart in the white.
Yeah.
And we're off. Course is live again.
Actually, that wasn't. I was thinking that was one of the Gomez boys. And it's actually Kevin Castro Fox taking the green flag for his 1-lap qualifying effort.
Gotta say the wraps do look pretty similar, but I wasn't sure if they had added a Can-Am to the stables or not.
Yeah, I was just going off of aesthetics alone. It looked like one of their cars, but once again, I'm wrong.
That's right, we'll give you a pass.
You can see on the right side, upper right-hand part of the screen, that some campers out there and some fans coming in at the top of the screen. I've
Looks
often,
like we
often
got
called
Darian.
Hammertown the fastest growing city in the United States, if not the world, for 10 days.
Absolutely. Doesn't stop growing once it's open.
Gates opened up to the public yesterday morning.
I don't think there's been a break in traffic now that they got the Welcome Center open 24 hours.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Looks like a pretty clean run so far. Not pushing too hard in the corners, just kind of taking his time, finding his pace.
Yeah, I can't imagine. We saw some of the ruts on the first portion of this course, and I can't imagine. And we're only on our 22nd car. We have over 100 coming out here. What is it going to be like, you know, in the latter half of the field?
Yeah, certainly makes it hard planning your run when the course is deteriorating. Looks like we got Darian Gomez out on the course.
You nailed it. The number 90 in the short course area. Kevin Castro Fox coming into Hammertown.
Looks like we got Phil Cagliero, number 21, sitting on the start-finish line, getting ready to party.
And let's see. Kevin Castro Fox crosses the line. Currently in the top 15 with a qualifying time of 2:46.17. Darian Gomez on course, getting ready to turn the green flag out for the 21.
It's always a hard decision to make when you see that open area in front of you. You just want to send it. You just want to go as fast as you can. But then you realize there's big rocks that are going to take your tires out at any moment in time.
Look at the ruts right there in that spot. I wonder if we're going to, I mean, they're almost a full, what, 32 inches deep? I mean, the height of a tire?
Coming into that with any kind of speed is going to want to suck you in and chew you out and throw you out the other side.
Not overly fast, at least it doesn't appear to be, but, you know, smooth and steady. Just get in the field. Don't wreck anything.
Makes a big difference when you can just get into your own groove and just pick your lines.
That's one thing about qualifying. You know, it's like during a race, you find your rhythm.
Yeah,
You know, kind of thing. You get your rhythm going. Qualifying happens so fast, you never really get a chance to get your rhythm and you know, kind of catch up to yourself.
And the clock's
before you
on
know
your
it's over
mind.
with.
You got the clock ticking away in your head. You're trying to count down, trying to figure out where you're at, whether you're fast or slow.
So as Darian Gomez comes into Hammertown, we've got Phil Cagliaro out on the course. You see Cagliaro down on already, you know, on the short course, getting ready to head out into the back section. And Darian Gomez coming into the short course. There he is. And Darian Gomez, he'll be in the top 20. He qualifies with a 3:08.03. 3:08.03 for Darian Gomez, currently 20th in qualifying. We have Phil Cagliaro on course. Now, he's always quick. I mean, he's been one of the faster UTVs in the Ultra 4 series since I've been around.
Yeah, he's pushing. Oh, he's found the wider line. Avoiding those big ruts that'll chew you up.
I think he's been watching the Jumbotron.
I think so.
That came up in conversation in the driver's meeting, that either or section right there.
Yep. Can make you or break you.
Getting ready to turn the green flag out for our next car. There it is.
Chris Barnett.
Phil Cagliaro getting ready to crest the top of the hill underneath the arches, headed back into Hammertown. And Chris Barnett currently getting ready to head out. Looks like I'm kind of looking at the flags right now. Do you think the wind has died down?
Looks like it's died down a little bit.
And Phil Cagliaro crosses the line in the 16th spot as of right now. Currently 16th quick with a time of 2:47 flat for the number 21 Polaris.
And speaking of flats.
Oh, right rear flat tire. That didn't help any. Wonder when that happened.
I was trying to toss up whether he was trying to race this in two-wheel drive, but I think it was just that punctured rear tire.
No, is it me or does it appear that Barnett's car sits a lot higher? The ride height is quite a bit higher than some of them that we've seen out there already.
Some of the guys really do enjoy that different center of gravity.
Did you notice that in that section right there, he actually dragged the tires were barely touching.
It's getting deep.
In the ruts.
It's getting really
and
deep.
He's dragging the belly pan. Now, will guys set up their cars for qualifying differently than for a race? Will they drop down the ride height and kind of, you know what, it's going to be rough a little bit, but I'll have to just suck it up just for a little bit more speed and handling?
Yeah, some of these guys definitely, I mean, that's where pre-running comes into it. Just getting out there, throwing it into the corners, getting a feel for it. That's kind of like make or break for them, really. But I guarantee you there's going to be a bunch of guys out there retuning things for tomorrow.
Dustin Jones takes the green flag. He's out there in the course right now, the 978. Boy, times are definitely starting to slow down with this course getting all ripped up.
We're not even halfway through yet.
Don't say that.
It's going to be a long day for some.
Chris Barnett, he'll cross the line. And let's see.
That is a good shot of Hammertown.
Barnett looked a lot quicker than this, but evidently not. He crossed the line in the top 20, currently 19th quick with a 256.06.
This guy's got some pace on.
Gotta like the graphics on that car. Sorry, man.
Yeah, that looks good.
Stars and stripes.
That looks good.
So once again, Chris Barnett qualified 19th with a 256.06. Jason Weller, still our fast car, with a 225.83. Sarah Price just a tick under 2 seconds back with a 227.66, currently second quick. But 0.2 of a second behind her in that third qualifying spot is Austin Wheeland with a 227.81. So, wow, boy. Saw Dustin Jones bouncing around those front tires. Almost looked like, I don't know if you're familiar with sprint car racing, but Steve Kinzer, man, I love those pictures of him when he used to pick up that left front in full lock.
Yep.
Oh, man. That's some cool stuff.
So I suppose you would know a few of these guys like Jason Weller from the other stuff you've been covering. Now, how do you think the short course guys translate into the enduro sort of stuff?
Well, as you look at Dustin Jones coming back into Hammertown, we also got George Lisenberry out on course. But to answer your question, you know, I think it comes from reading the track. I mean, it's very, very tough to read rocks. I mean, how do you it's so three-dimensional.
Yep.
Reading a rocks, what's on the other side of that rock? I mean, can I bounce over it? Do I have to go around it? What's on the other side of the rock? So that part, I really don't know. I'm thinking that's just a hard part. But from reading the track, reading the dirt, I think the short course guys in that arena might have the advantage. Like this here. Short course guys might be able to read the dirt. I mean, the colors, the ruts, things along that line.
For sure.
But I think when it comes to rocks, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever be prepared for the rocks because they move consistently. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, it's just you got to take it as it comes, go slow, and leave the red mist out of the situation. Otherwise, you could potentially break something.
Yeah, and you're asking a guy that's never been in an Ultra 4 car or out on a course like this.
Do we need to try and organize some kind of presenter race for the end of the week?
I brought that up. If I do something like that, I'll have to call the wife and have her up the life insurance policy to pay probably for a third horse.
I got travel insurance, so.
So George Lisenberry looking very pretty quick out there in that Arctic Cat. As our next car heads out into the short course for qualifying. And that is Madeline Wedding King. So we got our second female out on the track right now. Boy, he's busting some berms out there. Man, George is on it. Kicking up some dust in those turns. He's not kind of, dare I say, pussyfooting through the ruts, man. He's just slamming into the berms and busting that stuff.
Sometimes that is the way to drive. See, look at the difference in ride height. He's very, very low, and he looks like he's a little bit wider than factory.
Yeah, as fast as he looked, though, here's his qualifying time, 2:48.20. 2:48.20. That puts him 18th quick. And right now, I got to say, man, it's got to be the track conditions just flat up gone.
Yeah. The guys that went first will be very, very thankful that they got the opportunity to get out there before it gets all churned up.
So a nice looking car for Madeline out there in the 1808.
Looks like she's running the 10s of tires out there too. So Scott, if we jump mid-pack, about 26th place, we've got, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, Sten Vickerman.
Okay.
This boy's came over from Belgium. We walked past their pit the other day. They had this thing leaning over on its side. They were doing some work underneath it, and they figured the easiest way to do it was to flip the whole thing on its side and get access from the bottom.
Hey, just because you're in the States doesn't make it that we always do things right, you know?
Exactly. I believe it was an ex-desert racing car that had done some races down in Mexico, and so it needed a few tweaks to conform to the rules here. But I tell you what, they were fully committed. They were in there swinging wrenches and making things happen.
Boy, there's a lot of, she might just be a tad bit off on some shock tuning because that car's bouncing around, especially like we had mentioned earlier, a lot of kicking in the back end of that car, bouncing around. So she might need a little bit of work yet, but maybe, again, that's just attested to the track going away.
This is true. I mean, I've been in these vehicles when they kick, and it's quite a scary feeling because all of a sudden you're driving along and then you're just looking at the ground.
You have a sensation you're going over the front, yeah.
Anytime I ever jumped one of these things, I'd always make sure it was in full drive, so if the front wheels touch, you can gas out of it, or try to.
And Madeline Wedeking, she'll cross the line in that 20th position in qualifying. The 251.79. 251.79, that puts her in the top 20 in qualifying. You know what? It's now a good time for everyone to grab something to eat real quick, something to drink maybe, come on back to the big screen here at Hammertown, or if you're at home, hit the fridge, grab something, refreshments, come on back, because we're going to take a break ourselves and come back with our next group of drivers in just a few moments.
At US Gear, our name tells our story. From stock replacement to high performance and racing applications, our gear sets are made with pride in the USA. Crafted with quality and passion. With more than 50 years of manufacturing experience and complete control of the process from start to finish, US Gear is committed to providing you with ring and pinion sets that exceed your expectations, every mile and every pass.
So King of the Hammers, it's the toughest one-day race in the world as far as I'm concerned.
When you need your winch, that's the only thing that matters. It's about getting to the finish line first. It doesn't matter how you do it.
And we're back here at Hammertown. Great aerial shot. It's hard to tell the temperatures, hard to tell the stiff breezes we've been having here this morning, upwards of wind gusts of 50 miles an hour. But you know what? We're still at it. The guys are still working on their cars. The guys are still qualifying. And our track crew is still at it as well.
Everyone out there is doing a fantastic job of bringing this from a remote desert home to the viewers.
And we still have, just shy of 100 cars to qualify. We have 27 qualified on the track so far, and we have a little bit over 100 cars registered to come out here and race. I want to say it was like 110, 114 or something like that, I think it was.
Something around that number. There is a huge amount.
Just a little side story. We found out from Dave Cole a little while ago that Robbie Gordon's going to be out here right around 2 o'clock or so. There's 3 cars coming out? Oh, okay. So it sounds like Robbie's going to be qualifying right around 2 o'clock. But right before Robbie hits the track, Bailey Cole will be qualifying in an identically prepared Arctic Cat to Robbie Gordon. So we're going to see a couple of Speed Energy cars out here this afternoon, and we're going to find out, kind of cut and dry, no bones about it.
You know what we
one's
call
the better
that?
driver out there in KOH, in the UTV.
You know what we call that? We call that an excuse remover. You get matching cars and 2 drivers, you got to do your thing.
So we've had 2 sessions, or 2 groups of cars coming here qualifying, getting ready for the 3rd now. 1 car at the line.
Looks like we got Paul Hart up on the line.
I'll give him a head start.
I thought red cars were faster. He doesn't need a head start.
I thought R on the stick shift meant run.
Looks like we got Paul Hart out there. Taking that wide line, coming out the top of the berm. Looks like he's pushing pretty hard out there. Paul Hart out there, he is pushing. Looks like his tactic is to give it all it's got and hang on for the ride. Looks like next up we got Shannon Campbell sitting on the start-finish line in his brand spanking new machine. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go for him, being in an unfamiliar machine. They've been out pre-running this week, but there's not a lot of seat time in a brand new vehicle. And look at that. Paul Hart, as I said, looked like he was moving. He's come in with a 2:33.52. That's put him in 4th position. We got Shannon out there, taking the sensible line. That corner, as we keep saying, is starting to chew out quite bad. Shannon's got some good pace on. He's moving well. Looks like we got Bailey Campbell coming up next, sitting on the start-finish line. Looks like Shannon's got some good pace as he comes back through the Jeep Arch back into Hammertown. A little bit squirrely. Wow. 2 minutes, 32 and 87 puts Shannon into the 4th place. And Bailey is off. You watch this. As Bailey throws into this corner, you see how badly it's getting washed out. Oh, she's taken the wide line.
It almost looked like she was forced into taking that line because she came down.
She
kinda
picked
got
up a
on
wheel.
2 wheels, turned into it just a tad, which forced her to take that line. So we'll see that turned out to be advantageous to her.
Sometimes you
She
get lucky.
looked just as fast coming downhill
Absolutely.
as her dad did. So this
Oh.
could be another one of those top fives.
I was thinking that when she was coming through that little wash section, she had some good pace on. You can see just how rough this course is around the Jeep Arch. These guys are lifting wheels and getting kind of all bent out of shape, just trying to keep pace through there. Well, that brings Bailey Campbell in with a 2:41.08. And she is now in 9th position, right below Wayland in 8th.
Yeah, how about this for time? Waylon Campbell came in, he's currently 8th quick with a time of 2:36.83. Bailey Campbell, 9th quick, who's just out there, her time is 2:36.85.
Incredible.
2/100ths of a second. On a course like this with all those obstacles, all those variations, all those choices, 2/100ths of a second in difference of a lap time.
Should we see if they can do it again?
Evan Engelhart on the course right now. He's our 31st driver to come out on the course for qualifying. Keep in mind, everybody, this is the Can-Am kickoff, day 1 of 2. Kicking off the weekend, or I should say kicking off the King of the Hammers week, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, as you say, Scott, we are here. 2019 Can-Am King of the Hammers UTV race presented by HCR. And there are some fantastic drivers, some great talent, and things are going pretty smoothly so far with only one rollover on the course.
And at the line, getting ready to take off, Ronnie Anderson. Of the famed Anderson family. Wonder if his dad Randy is here. I'm not sure. Haven't seen him. Ronnie Anderson, whoa, a little rough coming down. Evan having a hard time. Staying on course, getting a little squirrely. I'll scrub up some time. Not good for him. Evan Engelhart crossed the line 18th quick with a time of 2:45.72. 2:45.72, 18th quick for the 1991 of Evan Engelhart. And this is going to be fun watching Ronnie Anderson, one of our factory Polaris drivers. Now there's another short course specialist. We kind of touched on that earlier, Diesel. And we'll see how he handles the rocks and elevation changes like this. Looks like, was this Parker Pumper maybe the hose flopping around there? Boy, he nice job through there. That was nice and quick by Ronnie Anderson. Through the roughest part of the whole course. I won't say made it look easy, but it was nice and smooth and fast. Boy, Ronnie Anderson is showing some speed. This has got to be another one of those top 5 runs. Wow. I think that may be, it's definitely going to be a top 5, maybe top 3. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the young man did it. New quick time. Ronnie Anderson unseats Jason Weller. And how about this? The time to beat was 2:25.83. His time, 2:22.87. Ronnie Anderson just blistered the course. And on the course right now, the 812 of Matt Mingen. Wow. Well, everything we said about the course getting rutted up and beat up, well, you can just kind of crumple that up and throw it in the wastebasket. You know, the thing is, watching Ronnie's lap, I don't know if you noticed, but he looked fast in every section. Every turn, the ruts. This section right here, and you see right now, Matt's trying to avoid going in the ruts, so he's trying to keep from high-siding, which appears to have actually slowed him down.
He lost a considerable amount of speed doing that.
That almost looks like a mini bouncer.
It does.
Chassis,
I believe it's a Can-Am. It looks like a Can-Am chassis that's custom, and they are allowed that as long as it still sticks to 1,000 cc.
Let's see, looks like we have 3 more cars in this session, or in this group of qualifiers. Driver number 33, I should say driver, the 33rd car on the track, let's put it that way.
33 out of, how many did we figure out? About 120, 115, something like that.
Yeah. And I think that's changing as we speak even, because I'm not sure if Robbie Gordon was registered on this list to come out here. Now that car looks a little bit longer in wheelbase. Or do they have to maintain a certain dimension?
I believe it's factory.
It appears to be longer.
But it looks a little longer, you're right. But I think it's just because it's kind of missing the rear panels. Or it could be a 4-seat chassis.
Tough break for Mac Mingen when he was trying the high side, those ruts, stay up top. He slowed him out quite a bit. He's actually in that 32nd spot qualifying with a 3:15.52. 3:15.52 for Matt Mingen, currently 32nd. And Kyle Cheney on the course, another one of those drivers that's been fast for a long time. He's a short course specialist as well.
Okay.
So he runs in the Midwest
Yep.
in a short course series. So
There's not a chance you could miss him with that color.
yeah. So this ought to be a good lap for him.
Looks
Not
like he's out.
Not a lot of experience with rocks and running the course that way, but I can tell you right now, he knows how to read dirt. He's very quick. I think he does some works races.
Okay. Looks like he's in a Can-Am
Yeah.
in the X3.
He was, I believe, the first driver to have a K&M running in the Midwest,
Wow.
and was definitely one of the fast ones. Well, he and C.J. Greaves were always going back and forth.
Nice.
Yeah, it seems like Kyle Cheney, he's fast, but he's also looks like he's bouncing off of every rock.
Yeah, it
He's like
does.
hitting
There's a
everyone,
lot of
you know?
wheels in the air.
Looks like all the tires still are holding air, so that's a good thing.
As long as he keeps it sunny side up, the bouncing
Yeah.
off the rocks thing could be a good tactic, maybe.
He's got very good straightaway speed through that section. Yeah, he just slowed quite a bit compared to Ronnie Anderson. Noticed that right away. Just kind of get to the top of that peak, turn right, and he just kind of like paced himself, got
Yeah.
aimed right, and then took off again.
You can see there's kind of like a little bit of a drop off there. They keep either completely leaving the ground or the front end leaves the ground as they're coming down.
Boy, are we off base. Ladies and gentlemen, it didn't look fast, but it sure as hell was. New quick time. The time to beat was 2:22.87. The time is now quick with a 2:21.40. Kyle Cheney, your new leader in qualifying.
These guys are definitely making us look like liars up here, saying this course is getting hard.
Man, yeah, like we know what we're talking about. I don't think so. Josh Chapman on the course right now. Boy, oh boy, how do you look? I mean, he didn't look all that fast. Ronnie Anderson looked fast from start to finish the whole time through. Kyle Cheney didn't. We were mentioning how he was bouncing off all the rocks coming down. He like he nailed every single one.
Yeah, he did.
And then wasn't all that fast when he got to the top of the peak there and turned right underneath that arch. And
Well, I guess
stand corrected, man.
it's the old saying that sometimes slower is faster. And like I said, if he kept it sunny side up, he was going to try a new tactic, and it worked for him.
So Josh Chapman out there in his Polaris. He's our 35th driver on the track. There's a shot of Josh Chapman coming back into Hammertown, crossing the finish line. We'll see what his qualifying effort was. Well, Josh Trapman crossed the line. He qualified 29th just a moment ago with a time of 2:57.67. And on the track right now is Chris Holland in the 49.73. Looks like we have another K&M at the line getting ready.
Now, Scott, it's interesting to see. We were just talking, and it's Can-Am, first place, followed by the Polaris in second, and a Yamaha in third.
Yeah, you don't get better parity than that, huh, man?
Man, it's cool to watch.
Oh, he's slow. There's something going on here with our qualifier right now on the course. Definitely off the pace. Chris Holland has some sort of mechanical issues. Well off the pace.
He's just taking his Sunday drive early. He's all right.
Or completely saving his equipment for tomorrow.
Nice looking wheels on it.
Yeah. Did I see a... Oh, he pulled off the course. He's off the course. It's not in the suspension. It's got to be something mechanical. Let's see. Did I just see...
I mean, that rear squat, he's sitting really low in the back.
I only saw one rear tire spin, though. Kick up dirt.
Maybe he's in turf mode.
Something in the transmission, maybe? Yeah, it's... Boy, that's hard to guess what's going on there. Something in the drivetrain. The 922. And we're underway. Hey, how about that? We got the KMC wheels. Timer running. Now that is unofficial clock, but it'll give you a very good idea of what we're looking at as far as lap times and how fast they are in certain sections. But thanks to KMC wheels, now we have the KMC wheels clock running. Nicholas Turner out on the track.
Another Can-Am out there. That's some big airtime.
Boy, we got Polaris coming in right now into staging, number 211. Meanwhile, Nicholas Turner still on the course. And again, he's looking fast. But I gotta tell you, just watching some of these sections and such, it's very deceptive. You know, the ones we thought were limping around, just at the top of the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And that corner, I mean, these guys are starting to take the wider line, which is, I don't know, is it proving to be a better line? It's longer, but it hasn't got the big ruts that's going to throw you.
Mm-hmm. And this is a section where Kyle Chaney was bouncing off of every single rock out there, I think.
He did a really good job of it. Like, I don't think he left any rock unturned.
Exactly.
He even left that one there. Looks like we got Michael Lee sitting on the start-finish line, ready to take off. Now you watch as they come around through this Jeep arch. It's very cutaway, very rocky, and they seem to be lifting wheels and doing a little bit of airtime coming down it.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 lanes going up, and when they hit the apex of the hill, when they turn right to come down, there's two choices coming down as well.
Yeah.
Not a bad run by Nicholas Turner, qualified in that 13th position, 241.41. 241.41 for Nicholas Turner. And the 922 puts him 13th quick. Justin Cochran on the course right now in the 49.72. He'll be our 37th car qualifying here this morning. Now this afternoon.
We are hearing this afternoon, aren't we? Things are moving quite well, though.
Glad to see Miles got out of bed today, huh?
It is. It's good to see Miles
everyone's like
here.
going, hey, Miles, when'd you get here? Hey. Yeah, it seems right now that Justin's being a little bit more meticulous coming down the hill. Was avoiding quite a bit of the debris, a lot of the rocks, but kind of struggling a little bit in doing so, scrubbing off a little bit of speed.
He seems a little bit off the pace, doesn't he?
And there's a few contingency stickers on that car, huh?
Yeah, I believe I was wrong earlier, and this is Michael Lee on the start-finish line now. I think they switched him on us.
Well, and it's still windy out there. We can see that, but it looks like the rain missed us, which is what we were most concerned about, at least up to this point.
Don't jinx it. I'm still not convinced that the sunshine's coming, but I'm thankful there's no rain.
Michael Lee takes the green flag. He's underway.
Looks like we got the KMC wheels clock up there for everyone watching at home. Now these are unofficial times, but it gives you a rough guide on what's going on out there.
Wow. Mr. Lee's looking pretty quick coming down the hill. He's just kind of letting the car go where it wants to go, not fighting it.
I gotta say, just about every person that's come into the entrance of this corner has lifted a wheel. It's starting to get pretty gnarly out there.
Yeah.
And then they go into the horrible bit, which is off camber and facing the wrong way to get you up the hill.
There's definitely a lot of aggression behind the wheel right now, which is cool to see. But will that translate to a fast lap or just a really quick car that was bouncing around a lot?
It seems to depend on the lucky bounce.
And here comes Michael Lee with his finishing time in just a second.
He is flying into that corner.
Yeah, nice look. Nice look by Michael Lee. How about that? Not a bad lap. Top 10. Time of 2:36.08. Qualifying at 10th spot. And Jeff McKinley underway. Looks like another Polaris. That still kind of relatively blows me away a little bit with Ronnie Anderson and then Kyle Cheney almost back-to-back, setting quick times. And Jason Weller sat in the hot seat for quite a long time.
Yes, he did.
For like probably 34, 35 drivers.
Yeah.
So he was there for at least, almost half the field of qualifiers. Right now, he's still sitting in that third spot. But we've got some pretty darn big names coming up.
Absolutely, we
pretty
do.
soon, and we'll find out if this course is much of a deterrent on fast lap times as what we think it is. But Kyle Cheney and Ronnie Anderson are telling us otherwise.
Yeah, we got proof wrong pretty quick. I got to say, this has got to be a great feeling with your name at the top of the list. You get a clean run at the start of the race tomorrow, but then you get knocked down. That's gotta suck.
Good shot of the view of the different lanes they can attack, our choices. There's probably 3, maybe 4 spots, I think it is, where they have a choice of an in or an out.
Yeah, there's a few either-ors, and it's 50-50 whether it's working for them or not, really, isn't it?
Right here. No, I've only seen 1 or 2 cars actually take that inside line going up the hill. And yeah, right there, Jeff just kind of tiptoed to the top and kind of took a breather and then came back down, where our fast guys were just nailing it the whole time.
Yeah, I think maybe they got wind of the guy that put it on his side, and they're taking it easy around that, getting into the Jeep arch.
And just like that, Michael Lee was in the top 10 and now drops back to the 11th spot as Jeff McKinley. moves into the top 10 with a time of 2:35.96. 2:35.96 for Jeff McKinley, currently in the top 10 in qualifying, and we still have a lot to go. Ross Pilgreen on the course right now. Ross Pilgreen in the triple ones.
What sort of speeds do you think they're getting up to out there, Scott?
You know, I wouldn't even venture to guess. I'm kind of watching the dust, and I know we got 50-mile-an-hour gusts out there.
Yeah. It's very hard to judge watching from a camera, but I gotta say they gotta be 65, 70 mile an hour at least.
Oh, minimum,
heading out to those sections.
Yeah, at least minimum. No, I believe this is one of those custom chassis that you were talking about earlier.
It kind of looks like the desert racing kind of ones where they use a long wheelbase chassis and then rip it all to bits and remake it to suit.
Right here you have an inner and out. He will go inside. And then we enter into the part where they climb the last hill. There's also a split lane. And just like about 95% of our drivers so far, he'll take the outside one.
Ross is definitely carrying a bit of pace through that Jeep arch, though. He's on the move.
Yeah, looking like he'll be in the mid-20s, I'm going to guess. Actually, no. Ross Pilgrim. 14th position in qualifying. 239.10. 239.10. Ross Pilgrim sits right now in that 14th position. And Aaron Henry. Or is it Henry Aaron?
No, I think it's
Aaron Henry?
Aaron Henry. The double A Ron.
He's out there in that 209. He is our 41st car to qualify.
Quite a nice looking machine, that one too, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, one of those cars that looks like he's sitting pretty high.
Yeah.
The ride height and all. So Aaron Henry looking pretty strong. Again, one of these drivers that doesn't look to be flashy at all, but quick and steady.
Yeah, he's just kind of picking his way through, making it happen, and trying to get into that rhythm that we talked about earlier. But again, it's really hard to do that on the short course.
And Aaron Henry almost came to a stop at the top of that hill when he turned right to come down. Scrubbed off a lot of speed, lost a lot of time in qualifying. Let's see what he got for a time.
Again, those cameras make everything look flat. These guys are coming in at pace to that kind of corner, and they're trying to navigate their way through without picking up a wheel, and it is quite a sharp turn.
And it looks like, let's see, Aaron Henry qualifies in the top 25 with a 24th place finish with a 2:44.73. Well, we just finished our third session of qualifiers. We're going to take a quick break, come right back with our next one. We'll be right back after this.
Give us the work no one else wants to do. We don't just go against the grain. We grow it. Give us the frontiers, the places where success is measured and pushed limits. Give us the middle of nowhere, where the only map is your buddy's tread marks. This life, no one's born ready for it.
What you want? What you want? No matter where your ride takes you. What you want? What you want? Whether it's a quick trip or a slow climb. When you choose RCV Performance Axles, you're guaranteed to finish every time.
Ford WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, Ford WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to Ford WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at FordWP.com.
Some say there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Sure, unless you can make it better. All tires aren't created equal. The Nitto Ridge Grappler. Spiral wound construction enables our truck tires to be aggressive and ride incredibly smooth.
Fueled by enthusiasts. Nitto Tire.
We didn't just test the new Optima Yellow Top with Pure Flow technology, we tortured it. King of the Hammers is 181 battery-killing miles of relentless, unforgiving hellishness. It's one thing to call yourself the ultimate power source. It's another thing to prove it. The all-new Optima Yellow Top with Pure Flow technology with up to 3 times the battery life. Unsurpassed performance built to fit today's vehicles. Optima, the ultimate power source.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the 2019 Can-Am King of the Hammers UTV race presented by HCR. We're just about to bring up the current top 10 on screen so you can see where everyone's at. Now, Scott, you want to run them through what's going on out there?
Sure. Jeff McKinley had a nice run just a moment ago. And then number 34 with a 236 flat. Dustin Jones currently 9th. Knox Griffin 8th. Paul Hart 7th. Shannon Campbell came through with a top 10 finish in qualifying so far. Keep in mind we're not even halfway through yet. His time was a 232.9. And then I tell you, this whole top 5 thing, I think I'm more impressed with Sarah Price probably than anybody else, even more so than Kyle Cheney or Ronnie Anderson.
Yep.
With those fast laps. I mean, she's taking it to the boys right now.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens tomorrow during the race. But Kyle Cheney, our current fast qualifier, with and he didn't look fast doing it though. He was so smooth. A 221.4. So Kyle Cheney the man to beat right now in his Can-Am.
It's good to see the Can-Am on top.
Yeah, if you look at that, let's see, that little green bush, the lower left-hand part of the screen, blowing around a little bit. Yeah, I think we're coming up with 11th through 20. Yeah, there it is. Michael Lee was out there a little bit ago, the 211. He qualified in the 11th spot, but in the top 20, Raul Gomez in the number 83, Trey McKinley, Jake Hollenbeck in the 18th spot, Scott Lachey 17th, Nicholas Turner, Phil Blurton in the 15th spot, Ross Pilgrim. He was one of those drivers that we didn't think looked fast at all.
Absolutely.
And he came through with a top 15 finish in qualifying. Again, I emphasize, as of right now.
We got a lot to
15
go.
So we'll find out in just a moment when we have quite a few cars. Like I said, we're not even halfway through qualifying yet.
Definitely not. And I still can't believe the time comparison between Bailey Campbell and Wayland Campbell.
Yeah, exactly.
1/100th of a second.
Well, looks like we're getting some more cars lined up, and we'll be coming back with more qualifying at approximately 2 o'clock. And by the way, don't forget, Robbie Gordon is scheduled to be coming out right around 2 o'clock with his qualifying effort in an identically prepared car to Bailey Campbell, who's going to be on the course right before him. So that's going to be coming around right around 2 o'clock. So come on back. And here we are once again. Live action will continue at 2 p.m.